Today we're going to show how to make a screaming clay head from an Accucast 880 Alginate mold. I shaved my head for the summer, so I thought this was as good a time as any for a new up-to-date Lifecast. And just to make things more interesting for myself and those helping with the cast, Shannon and James, I decided to do a screaming head pose. Now the way we did this is I waited until Shannon and James had applied a uniform layer of Accucast 880 Alginate all over my head. Now we're just doing the glorified face cast here. We're not doing the back of my head. But I waited till they had hit complete coverage of my head, and then I opened my mouth once the alginate was just about to set. And the way I gauged this was I kept some alginate on my hand from the original batch there, and when I felt it start to get a little gummy, as the 880 formula does right before it sets, at that kind of gummy stage, that's when I opened my mouth to assume the screaming head pose. Now, Accucast 880 is normally about a 7 to 8 minute working time, so we wanted to wait till the end of that working time for me to do the pose so that I didn't have to keep my head and my face in that expression for the full 8 minutes. Now there, the alginate's setting up, and they're now ready to apply the plaster bandage shell. Now, for more information on the complete Lifecasting process, I would recommend our Lifecasting 101 DVD that covers the headcast process in much greater detail. But this will just give you an idea how we can do a screaming head pose by timing the alginate, so we do the pose or a dynamic expression right before the alginate sets. So a good tip there is for your subject to have a handful of alginate where they can feel it begin to set in their hands, and that's when they know it's time to assume the expression. Now into the finished alginate mold, we brushed some hot Tex clay to create this clay positive. Now here's our rough clay positive with lots of little clay defects and air bubbles and such. But overall it's a pretty good cast, so ready to do some cleanup work on it, and then I'm going to mount it on a stand and sculpt the back of my head. Now here is our finished sculpt, ready for mold making. Keep in mind that the complete Lifecasting and silicone casting process is on our Lifecasting 101 DVD and our Fundamentals of Silicone Skin DVD, both available on our web store.